Hello friends and welcome back to the channel. It's been a little bit of time here since I dropped the last video, but I wanted to take the time today to drop a video on Cool Pets because it is kind of the latest collection that's been on my radar in the GameFi space. And so I thought I would talk a little bit about the Cool Pets project, which is the second project from Cool Cats, what's been going on with it. We're kind of in the middle of the minting period, how the game actually works and what to expect after all of this mint stuff happens. And then I wanted to spend a little bit of time as well afterwards talking about the future of Cool Pets and if I think that it's going to have a huge impact on the GameFi space in general, as we're seeing a big uptake in NFT gaming with projects like Crypto Raiders and DeFi Kingdoms. Before I get into it, none of this is financial advice. You should definitely do your own research on these projects. We don't know anything about how NFTs are going to perform in the future. This is just kind of my analysis and what I'm considering with this project. And if you do enjoy these types of videos and want to kind of have more project analysis videos where I look kind of deeper into these projects and see how they're performing, definitely hit the like button, subscribe to the channel. I really appreciate it. And it would really encourage me to continue making these videos in the future. So with that, we'll just kind of start about and talk a little about what exactly Cool Pets is. So Cool Pets, like I mentioned, is the second project from Cool Cats. If you don't know about Cool Cats, it was kind of one of the OG NFT projects. The floor is sitting it was at 15 ETH at one point. I don't know exactly what it's at right now, but a relatively high floor. And this is the second offering that they are putting out there. And a lot of people are comparing it to kind of the Mutant Ape Yacht Club to a Bored Ape Yacht Club, where you have this primary project that's really priced out a lot of people, and then you have a second project coming to market that may be a little bit more affordable, although we'll talk a little bit about what the pricing is. So the way it works is there's about 19,999 or 20,000 Cool Pets, and they are going to be half of them, the first 9,999 goes to Cool Cats holders. So if you have a Cool Cat currently, you are eligible for minting a Cool Pet. And that's open right now forever. And so people have already started kind of minting those things, and you'll be able to get your Cool Pet. The second phase is an allow list. And so the allow list is closed. You can't get on it anymore. But if you were able to win an allow list spot, which is basically their whitelist, you can get a Cool Pet as well. The mint price is 0.5 ETH, which is very steep. But we'll talk a little bit about that as well. But I think it's very justified, and I think it's an appropriate mint price for a collection of this caliber. And if you were on an allow list, either you got that through other project, they had a lot of giveaways. I think I want to say they've given away mostly like 8,000 of their spots to allow list members. So I think those are going to be kind of the majority. And then there's going to be a public mint, which I think there's going to be enormous gas war for. So I actually won't be participating. I'll probably try to get one on the secondary market if I can. So that's kind of what the project is. They have this website right now. So this is the official Cool Cats website. Right now it's in maintenance mode because they're kind of trying to figure out some DNS issues that have been going on. But if you go to it, it's coolcatsnft.com. And if you go to it, it'll tell you what a Cool Pet is and what it looks like. And, it talks about some of the items. And this is kind of what they're looking like. So there's 4 elements, water, grass, fire, and air. And so we'll talk a little bit about what each of these things mean. And then they also reference the Cool Hub, which is kind of what I want to talk about. So a lot of the good information is already in the Cool Hub, which is essentially their kind of not white paper, but the docs website. And so if you want to go here and read about all of the different things associated with Cool Pets, I'll link this in the description below so you kind of have that information. So we talked a little bit about the mint price being 0.5 ETH. If you look at the current OpenSea listing for Cool Pets right now, there are 6,000 items, so there's still a bunch left to claim because Cool Cat owners have only been able to claim so far, and even not all of those have been claimed. The floor is already sitting at 2.25 ETH. This hit right when it went launch, was up to 4 ETH. So we're seeing a lot of volume, and I think that in my analysis, I think this is going to get severely undercut as we still have about almost another 14,000 to add to the supply. So I'm hoping that this will go ideally between 1 and 1.5 ETH. I think it'll probably be more realistically in 1.5 to 2 ETH range. My prediction was that it'd be at 2.3 ETH, but I think that's probably going to be a little bit high after the dust settles with these. So if it does go to that, I'll try to pick one up and then I'll probably hold for the long term because I do think that this is a project that can do well, at least in my kind of playbook. So talking a little bit about the game itself, so the one thing that's important to know about Cool Pets is it's not only an NFT project, it's also a game, and I'll give you guys a little bit of an overview of the game. So it's essentially going to be a play-to-earn game where you can use your Cool Pets to do different things, like go on quests, and the main token of the game is called Milk. And so Milk is an ERC20 token, and there's a couple of different ways that you can earn Milk. So if you have a cool cats actually earn Milk passively, and there's a whole kind of chart that will tell you how much milk your cool cat can earn per day based on the rarity of the cool cat. And the cool pets can also earn milk by interacting with the game. So you can like send your pet on quests, it'll gain milk, it'll gain items, and then you can sell those items in the cool shop, which is kind of the in-game marketplace. And so we'll talk a little bit about what all these items mean. When you look at this pet, so this is kind of the final form of the pet, but this is not exactly how you'll get it right when you mint the NFT. So the NFT is when you mint it, you're actually going to get what's called an egg, and so these are all the different stages. So first you're going to get an egg, and then it's going to become hatching, and then hatching to hatched, and then hatched to final form. And you have to do a specific number of interactions to actually get your pet to final form. And when I say interactions, it means like giving the pet items. So you would take this pet, you would send it to on quests where you could find items or generate milk, and then you would give those items to your pet. And that's how you would have an interaction with that item. Now, the items are interesting because the items can vary, and based on the items that you give your pet, that's going to determine what kind of pet it is, one of those 4 elements that I was talking about. And it's a little bit amorphous in terms of, it's not just like, oh, you gave your pet a water bottle, so it's going to be water. It's like an item can have multiple traits associated with it, so you don't exactly know what you're going to get. And then by the time you hit this final form, that's when your pet will evolve, and so you'll get a specific type of final form. And this is really interesting because it makes the reveal process essentially audience-based or consumer-based, because you're actually determining what you get. And also it means that we're probably not going to have an equal split of all 4 elements. So, if there's a ton of people trying to get the flame cool pet or the fire cool pet, they'll try to maybe only give things that they think will get them to a fire state. But at the end of the day, maybe most people didn't get a grass cool pet, and so that actually becomes the rarer one. So there's a little bit of game theory there as well. So that's kind of the cool pet stages. Milk is the big token. It is an ERC20 token. I did think it was a little bit interesting that they only have 1 token, whereas something like Crypto Raiders has Raider and Aurum, which is 2 tokens, but Milk in this case is a single token that you use also for in-game transactions, and also will be kind of the currency, I would say the token of the cool cats that they generate. And the other thing to know about this is all of this is going to happen on Polygon, but the way the team has structured the project, you only have to interact with it on the mainnet when you go through the website, and all of the stuff actually happens in the back end. So it's not like you have to switch networks and all of that. They do that all for you. And for all the in-game transactions, the team is actually covering gas. So that's really interesting, because even those like minuscule Polygon gas fees of 1 cent, you won't be paying, because the team will be covering those on your behalf, which I think is a really good touch, because I think it makes you want to try to reduce friction in these things, and that's how they're kind of helping to reduce this friction. It is an interesting financial state because they're taking on all the gas. I understand it's Polygon gas, but they are taking on all of the gas, and so that's another reason why the mint price has to be a little bit higher, because a high mint price kind of almost guarantees a high floor, because people have to make profit, and so that's going to have high royalties, and they are going to also, that's how they generate their income, the team at least. And then the team also will take a percentage cut of Milk token every time you sell something in the cool shop. So that kind of gives us a segue into the cool shop. The cool shop has a couple of different things. It's where you can buy items. It's where you can buy chests that have specific items in them. So you can see you'll use 1,000 milk tokens to buy this, and then this will have items that you can give to your pet. The other thing that you can do is also sell items in the marketplace. And so if you have a bunch of items but you don't really need all of them, you can put them up for sale in the marketplace. All of these items are going to be ERC 1155, which I also thought was an interesting play, because they didn't make them ERC 20, which means that you kind of need a market maker. So they're essentially NFTs, so a little bit illiquid assets, which is you probably won't be able to just get rid of a lot of items because there won't be a buyer for them. So I didn't really love that aspect of it, but I like the way Crypto Raiders is doing it, where things in their ecosystem are just ERC 20 tokens, so you can just immediately trade them for whatever other currency you want. But this is kind of the way that they're doing it, and I think that this is an interesting, framework of how people can get items that they may not be able to get in specific quests. So with that, let's talk a little bit about quests. And so quests are kind of be the main way to interact with the game. And right now I'll be upfront and say that I think the quests are going to be at their bare minimum. There are as in they're going to probably get developed a lot more further down the line. right now what's going to happen is you're going to send your cool pet on a quest, and you're going to be able to gain something in return from be that in items or milk or whatever it may be. And there are different rarities of quests, that you can get. And so they present you with 5 quests at a time every time you visit the quest tab, and you can send your pet on a specific quest. And so you might think that okay, if you get a legendary quest, you definitely want to go on it, and that's probably true. But once your pet gets to final form, there's also going to be bonus points, because some quests will say will do better if you have a fire pet or a water pet. And so if you send your pet to that specific quest, you'll get a higher return for those things. And so you can also earn from quests, like we mentioned. These are the milk. The milk earnings from a quest, and items are variable. So items can only be earned by pets in full form, I believe, and not with eggs and hatching and hatch. So that's like another incentive that the team is giving everybody to actually develop and grow their pets so that they can send them on quests and gain items. And so I think the thing with quests is that they're going to be, it's nice because it leaves an open framework for the team to develop more things down the line. And I think that they will be able to have more interactions and more items that you can gain. And they can even make them kind of, specific to certain seasons. Like when Christmas comes around, there can be like a Christmas quest, similar to kind of what Crypto Raiders does. So I think that's a really interesting thing that the team is putting out. And one other thing with quests is that, like I mentioned, you'll be able to have 5 quests given to you at a given time whenever you go to the quest tab. But if you don't want to complete a specific quest, or if you don't get the quest that you want, they do have a reroll quest thing that you can do. And that is essentially you pay a certain amount of milk and you get a reroll of quests. It'll generate some new quests. And so if it's something that you want to kind of whale into, or you buy a lot of milk, you can do that and try to get the best quests that you want if you're not happy with the ones that they give you. And so that's kind of how quests will work. I think that there's going to be a lot of developments that come to this space, and it'll be a good way to actually use your pet to interact and develop it and grow it over time. And that's kind of the play to earn aspect of this whole game, which I think is really interesting. And so the next part is the Adventurers Guild. So I actually really like this aspect. And so this is only for cool cat holders. And this is essentially a passive way for a cool pet to earn milk. So if you're a cool cat holder and you don't want to do all the quests, you don't want to engage with the game, you can send your cool pet to the Adventurers Guild. And while it's there, it'll earn some milk. It won't gain any items, and the milk that it'll earn is going to be lower than the milk you would earn on quests, because they're trying to incentivize people to actually go on quests. But this is really helpful for people who have hundreds of cool cats. I know there's like some people who are lucky enough to have that, and they may not have time to actually do all of that, and so do all the questing, so they can send their cool pets to the Adventurers Guild and earn milk. And I think the idea down the line is that eventually people can then come in and rent a cool pet and run quests with it, and so kind of making this guild aspect that you see with a lot of these play to earn games. And that'll be helpful, because it'll not only benefit the cool cats holder because their pets will be able to go on quests, but it'll benefit whoever is actually running those quests to gain a little bit of income. Because I do believe that cool pets are eventually going to get to a point where it's still going to be priced out for most people. spending like 2 ETH or a ETH and a half on something is not something that everyone can do. And so this is another way that people can get involved and actually earn some income from the game. Now the big question is this sustainable? And I think that's something that time will tell, and it really depends on the price of milk over time. And that's why I thought it was an interesting play to only have 1 token rather than 2, because all of your your in-game currency and you don't want the issue with having in-game currency tied to milk is you want the price of milk to go up, obviously, but then when it does, are things going to get more expensive in the game, or how is that going to work? And so that's why the way Crypto Raiders handles this is they have Aurum, which is a stable kind of coin, a stable coin, quote unquote, where they're trying to keep that price stable, and Raider token can kind of increase in value as the game kind of grows. So that'll be kind of interesting to see, and that's kind of what I'm looking forward to seeing how this kind of evolves for this project. And then to kind of round things out is what's next after this. So obviously this is a lot to start with. The team has already given a little bit of roadmap stuff, and it's pretty vague, I'll be honest, but it includes things like crafting, housing, and battling. So you can imagine that you get items, you craft them, you can sell them on the marketplace or use them for specific things. Housing, I'm assuming these will be like different NFTs or different ways to your cool pet can go into a specific house and maybe do certain quests. I'm not sure. And then battling, it'll be cool pet versus cool pet, probably for milk or items or something like that. So I think these are pretty standard when it comes to these types of games, and that's still kind of down the road. And I think it'll take it'll take a while to do this, because I think the team is probably going to bring on people who are more into kind of the gaming sphere. to really have impact on how they develop the game down the road. So that's kind of the overview of Cool Pets that I have for you guys. I think the one thing that I will say is, the big question for me is Cool Cats going to be the project that brings this NFT GameFi stuff into the mainstream? Because right now you have DeFi Kingdoms, you have crypto raiders, but those are still relatively either different niches or specific kind of smaller pockets of people, whereas Cool Cats is coming from the NFT PFP space and kind of adapting into this like play to earn game space, and so they could potentially be that bridge that brings everything together. I think there are still a lot of questions that are open and that remain, and I think that this is a very good start. But I think the what's going to be the determining factor for something like this is the team going to be able to bring on other people who are more experienced in this specific sphere, and I think they will be able to do that. But I just don't think that it's there yet. So I think if there is a project positioned to do this, it's going to be Cool Cats, because they already have such a strong foothold in the general NFT profile picture space, and I'm really happy that they're entering the play to earn space, because bridging those two spaces together is, I think, how we get more adoption of people actually doing like NFT gaming and play to earn, and not only kind of like in this traditional kind of Axie Infinity like area that we have seen it in the past. So I'm really excited about this project. Again, the allow list is hopefully going to go live in the next 24 hours. They keep kind of delaying it, and because there's like technical issues, which I totally understand. So I will say, just to keep it safe, make sure you follow them on Twitter, join the Discord. Don't click on any spam collections. There's a ton of spam collections already coming up, and people have been unfortunately buying from them. So make sure you just get the official link from the team, and they also have it verified on OpenSea, so that should help a little bit more. But this is another project that I'll probably be making more videos on down the line. So if you enjoyed this and kind of want to see me make more videos as this project kind of develops, definitely hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and I appreciate you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.